That dress rehearsal, preseason game 3 the other night. If that's the dress rehearsal, let's skip this season and move on to next year.
Yeah, that was not for the Browns. That wasn't a dress rehearsal. I could have told you 2 hours before the game. That team was tired. They just didn't have a lot of energy. They didn't have a lot of pep. They had been traveling a lot. You know, they were in Indianapolis the week before, traveled back to Cleveland and then to Tampa Bay. So there's just a lot of traveling going on, as well as practices that really didn't slow down for them, even though they were traveling and staying out of town. And so it was a real test for a young team, a lot of teaching moments for Freddie-Kitchens. And in the end, they had a lot that they were working on, trying out some things to deal with the offensive line, some short rolls, some rollouts, different packages, things of that nature. It wasn't a team that we're going to see in week 1. It was far from it. And I don't think from the offensive side, they're really that worried about what they saw, but it does give them a lot of things to teach about. On the other side, the defensive side of the ball, wasn't that a lot of fun to watch that front four just get after the quarterback? After years of Greg Williams sending 7 and 8 guys, it'll be nice to be able to get some pressure with 4 and then cover in the back with 6 or 7 guys.
Okay.
So the defense was really good to see.
All right, so it's too early to make this assessment because there's still one more game and they haven't played the season yet. But do you think does it look like Freddie-Kitchens has handled this preseason the way he should, or do you see anything glaring that maybe he should have done that he didn't do?
Everything we're hearing and everything I've seen, it looks like Freddie really has a plan and is kind of going by that plan. Everything fits together. So the players have bought in. The players understand why he's doing everything. And so for me, that's really all you can ask. Whether it works or doesn't work, we'll see in the regular season. But they've been in pads. They're ready to go. One of the things we haven't seen in Cleveland is teams in week 1 and 2 who are ready to wear pads for a full game. And so they've been wearing pads in practice. They've been hitting. They've been thumping. They've been doing all of those things. He wants to make the team very, very physical. We'll see if that pays off. But what we know is that we've seen and we've heard that the players have bought into it. And it's not just lip service. It's sideline conversation. It's bought in.
Since the Browns came back in '99, what is their record? They've won 1 opening game. Is that correct?
I think that's right.
Oh, that's not fair. You can put a high school team out there and do better than that.
You would think, and I think that's what's really different about this preseason is it's not about finding out who can play and who can't play, except for a couple positions. It's really about figuring out how they do things best. And so that's why you've seen the Browns do things a little differently than they have in the past. This is a team looking to compete. This isn't a team looking to figure out who's that 52nd, 53rd man. They don't really care as much about that. They care about kind of getting everybody healthy and figuring out who can do what as starters and key contributors for a winning team.
Generally, it doesn't, with the Browns, it doesn't matter who's 52nd or 53rd because they won't be there when the wire comes, the draft wire, or the waiver wire comes. Let's go through a couple of things quickly. Austin-Seibert, 4 for 4 in a pressure situation. Even though it's an exhibition game, it was pressure for him. Did he win the job?
I think he did. They spent a 5th-round pick. Greg Joseph was already there, so John Dorsey and Freddie-Kitchens knew what they had in Greg Joseph and still spent a 5th-round pick on Austin-Seibert. It was his job to lose, and those 4 kicks were huge for him to win the job. I think at this point in time, they keep Greg Joseph until final cuts, obviously, just in case something happens, but that is Austin-Seibert's job to lose.
Eric-Kush, starter at right guard?
He is the starter at right guard. Whether that's a good thing or not is a different discussion. But I was told by somebody inside the Browns, have you looked around the league? There's not very many good offensive linemen around the league. And so there's nobody going to be on waiver wires that's going to compete with him, Drew Forbes, or some of those guys. It just isn't going to happen. And so it looks like Kush is the guy, unless something happens where Drew Forbes really just takes off in this week of practice. It looks like it's Kush's job unless he loses it during the season or there's an injury.
Final question.